The holidays are soon approaching, and one of these two teams will get the gift of victory at the Haven Center in Benilde-St. Margaret's. We come to you for another edition of high school girls basketball as we document one of the biggest section rivalries, Benilde-St. Margaret's and Holy Angels. The Red Knights at 3-2, the Stars 6-0. The two teams met last year in the Section 6 3A final. Expectations suggest the two will do so again. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Peden. Jason Sandifer will join me in a moment. Benilde-St. Margaret's coming off a big win over Minnehaha Academy. Now, Minnehaha wasn't at full strength, but anytime you can score 90 points against a team that has the likes of Addie Mack, Sine Hill and company, that's no small achievement. The Red Knights have classed up in terms of their schedule. A lot of late conference opponents. Minnehaha, Holy Angels, they have a matchup with Becker later this season. Tim Ellefson hoping to test this team. Kendall McGee and Olivia Olson remain the two big names. They're both averaging over 20 points per game. Kendall McGee has been on a tear as of late, and any team that has the future Michigan recruit in Olson is always in contention. Benilde-St. Margaret's, if you recall, beat Holy Angels in last year's section final after losing to them in the regular season meeting. Benilde-St. Margaret's had a better day from the floor. We'll see what happens today in a matchup, while exciting, determines mostly seeding. And since the final is played in neutral territory, it's not a huge sway, but it certainly provides a prologue for what could be an intense battle for that state tournament slot. Holy Angels, if you watched the Hutchinson game that we covered, they regroup and they reload. That hasn't changed this year, and the Stars have racked up some pretty impressive wins. Hutchinson, Grand Rapids, and Shakopee. Kaylee, Caron, Jenna Buer, Elizabeth Pierce, and Ella Pritchard, some of the names on this deep and potent lineup. Holy Angels, even though they weren't pegged as the favorites to get out of the section, they are changing that tune in a hurry. Another win against a top-tier Class 3A team would go a long way to making them a potential favorite in the section and perhaps in Class 3A. We'll rejoin you for the starting lineups. You're watching high school girls basketball. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James, toss shot, it goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to the Haven Center in St. Louis Park. Benilde-St. Margaret's is the place to be, and Jason Sandifer has joined us. Jason, as we noted in the open, what this matchup will decide today is likely the one seed in the section. But considering how this series played out last year, this could be a telling game as far as who gets that state tournament slot out of Section 6.
No doubt, Mike. I agree with you 100%. This is going to be a challenging game for both teams here. I think Benilde-St. Margaret's, for the most part, they have no trouble scoring. We've already talked about that. They have no trouble putting the ball in the basket. But they're going to have to deal with this pesky Holy Angels defense. Holy Angels on the other end, they're going to have to make sure that they're converting in transition to make this game as easy as possible.
The two teams split the series last year. Holy Angels won the regular season meeting. Benilde-St. Margaret's won the section final. Holy Angels had a hard time getting their shots to fall in that game. And as you know, Jason, when your shots go down, you look good. When they don't go down, it doesn't matter who you are or who you play, you can run into trouble.
It could be a tough evening or afternoon if your shots aren't going down. There's no doubt about that, Mike.
Here are the starters. No changes for either team since our last visit. So for Holy Angels, you'll see Ella Pritchard, Kaylee Caron, Jenna Buer, Kira O'Rourke, and Elizabeth Pierce. Benilde-St. Margaret's will start Olivia Olson, the Michigan Verbal, Kira Wismer, Sierra Lumpkin, Kendall McGee, and Kate Kapsner. And Benilde-St. Margaret's, they're 3-2, but remember, their schedule includes 3 Lake Conference teams. Eden Prairie, they get Minnetonka later in the season. And they have a big game with Becker in February.
Yeah, they've scheduled their harder part of their season for the early part of the season, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You may take some lumps in the beginning, but I think in the end it's going to benefit you.
And don't forget, Benilde-St. Margaret's also played Hopkins relatively close before the Royals pulled away, 77-65. We are underway at the Haben Center. And the first possession belongs to Holy Angels. Ella Pritchard could not convert the take. Wismer collects the rebound. No shot clock today. Here's Olson. Around Pritchard. Can't float it in. No shot clock today. They did use it for the Eden Prairie game, but I talked to Dan Woods. He said the way these two teams play, you won't need a shot clock.
There will be no need for a shot clock, Mike.
And he noted this, and it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And, well, it's something you'll have to get accustomed to as well at St. Agnes. Kaylee Caron launches the 3 and connects. That side doesn't get old. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say very good offense by Holy Angels. They're very patient, just waiting for that prime opportunity to take that 3-point shot.
But to finish up the point about shot clocks, Dan Woods, in his estimation, is Kendall McGee can't even the score. Most teams, he said, maybe 90, 95% usually run their sets within 35 seconds anyway.
Yeah, the game has just gotten so fast-paced, Mike. A lot of it's played in transition.
And that was the case last night. I covered Harding Hill Murray for NSPN, and the bulk of scoring opportunities came in transition. And I've said this before, where I think it will have the biggest impact is end of game or end of half scenarios.
You're referring to the shot clock, right?
Yes.
And I agree with you.
Right now, Holy Angels making a big impact from 3-point range. Jenna Buer with the first triple. And here's that full court pressure defense. Benilde-St. Margaret's breaks it. Kendall McGee on the take. And the continuation.
So far, Benilde's not having any problem with that defense of Holy Angels.
Kendall McGee, 22.8 points per game. She dropped 31 against Eden Prairie. No matter who the opponent is, she generally doesn't have trouble scoring.
Yeah, she can find the bottom of the bucket.
I watched her play AAU with Minnesota Stars Bravich. That was her bread and butter move, a slash to the rim. More often than not, it got her 2 points. Holy Angels looking to make that 3-ball work.
Good save.
Elizabeth Pierce with the second chance play.
That was just a headsy play right there, Mike.
.24 left in the first half. Benilde-St. Margaret's and Holy Angels, the Stars up 8-2, and there's another example of that pesky defense, but Sierra Lumpkin. Wow, Lumpkin and O'Rourke trading defensive blows. 3-ball. Kaylee Caron threw up maybe an ill-advised shot right away.
Yeah, Holy Angels is really looking to get that 3-point shot going early here, Mike.
They have a couple of triples already. We've got a tie-up, and the possession arrow favors Benilde-St. Margaret's. Mackenzie Wells back in the lineup for Benilde-St. Margaret's. She was unavailable last Friday. The two coaches are no stranger to each other. Tim Ellison, of course, was at Hutchinson for many years. And since they shared the section with Holy Angels, they played each other a lot. Olivia Olson missed the corner three. Another scramble won by the Stars.
Got both teams going at it pretty hard right now on defense, Mike. I would guess that by the second half, these teams are going to be pretty wore out, and we'll probably see some of that full court pressure backed off.
McGee for three. Stars on the move. Jenna Buer with a short-range bunny. I knew Holy Angels was going to bring it defensively, but Benilde-St. Margaret's, they're not fooling around either. Oh. And O'Rourke with another big defensive play. Three doesn't drop, but Ella Pritchard stays with it. Dead ball rebound to Holy Angels.
Looks like we got a timeout.
Benilde-St. Margaret's with a 30-second timeout, and might be one of those situations, Jason, you're talking about how exhausting it is to play up and down. Holy Angels, we talked about this in the Hutchinson game. No matter who's on the floor, they are remarkably consistent.
They are, and again, they're just looking to turn it up on the defensive end, get some turnovers, and hopefully convert those in transition. I think this 30-second timeout was more just to kind of calm the girls down. I think nerves are probably high. You lose energy when you're nervous, so I think it's just to calm them down and just to kind of let them clear their heads here, Mike.
Here's the kicker. I talked to Dan Woods for a few minutes before this game, and he said at this stage of the season, I wouldn't have been surprised if we were 3-3. Holy Angels, they had a tough start to their schedule with Grand Rapids, a perennial, Hutchinson, a section rival. They picked up a big win over Shakopee last week. Shakopee, one of those perennial sleeper teams in Section 2 4A.
Holy Angels is looking to play inside out right now.
They lead 10-2. And Kendall McGee forcing the turnover. The Holy Angels fans in front of us, you could probably gather how they felt about that.
Not too happy.
But Kendall McGee is sneaky like that. She had a few stops in the Eden Prairie game to help Benilde-St. Margaret's hang around.
She is. I like her. She likes to hang out in the backcourt and see if she can poke the ball out, particularly after a made bucket. I like how she plays, Mike.
Olivia Olson drains the 14-footer. And Jason, it doesn't matter what happens. Olivia Olson, she might have a slow start, but it won't be long before she finds her stroke.
No, she'll start to heat it up here pretty soon. I'm almost sure of that.
Bishop, 3-ball, corner pocket.
Right back at the other end, Holy Angels is taking it right to him, Mike.
Aaron Kennedy says right back at ya.
Got an early track meet here.
Wells, guarded by Pritchard. She's not going to risk messing with Ella. But she gets the favorable spot there and a chance at three. And Ella Pritchard, one of the lockdown defenders for Holy Angels, that's not easy to go up against.
No doubt. She was in the right place at the right time and finished strong, too.
Mackenzie Wells, again, missed the start of the season, averaging 4.3 a game since she got back. And she completes a three-point play. And Kendall McGee swipes the inbound pass. Once again, Jason, she likes to lurk about.
Yep, exactly what we talked about, Mike.
Josie Najee for three, short. It's a 2-point game now.
Looks like we got some conversation about who's balling.
Well, it's not my ball. That much I can tell you. I was going to say, though, Jason, I think Dan Woods was right. We don't need a shot clock today.
No, not at all. Not at all. And for fans, this is fun basketball.
That is going to be on Najee, I believe.
I think you're right.
No, they call it on Bishop. So Pierce at the line. If you weren't with us for the last broadcast, Elizabeth Pierce playing quite well. Knocks down both free throws. Pierce, a certified lifeguard, and offers swim lessons when she's not playing basketball. Stars with the steal. Caron a little out of position, finds O'Rourke. Runner is short. Bishop with the rebound. McGee calling for it. Tough spot there, but somehow gets the rock. Najee for three.
The Holy Angels is looking to run.
And it's Benilde-St. Margaret's ball. Jason, I know with Benilde-St. Margaret's, anytime you see them play, it's Olivia Olson who is usually the spotlight, but the way Kendall McGee has displayed herself in the couple of games I've seen out of Benilde-St. Margaret's, I think you could make just as much a case for her acumen.
No, I think you're absolutely right there, Mike. Two different players, two different positions, two different styles, but they're both just as effective.
Olson too strong on the layup. Rebound Charlotte Henry.
Holy Angels is really looking to push the ball here, Mike.
Olivia Olson swipes the baseline pass. Bishop, tough shot, and gets the roll. Bishop with 5 off the bench. Three ball. And Sierra Lumpkin gets control of it. Wismer was calling for it. Olson doubled. McGee, oh, that's dangerous. Give her a lane, and that's usually what's going to happen.
Very good at slashing. Mike, I think if I was Benilde's coach, with the pace of this game right now, and Holy Angels not shooting the ball too well from the perimeter, I might look to go to a zone just to save some energy from my players.
Kendall McGee knocks down the front end. You may have seen her father at a high school gym or two, because when there isn't a Benilde-St. Margaret's game on the schedule, her dad will spend his time as an official. In fact, he worked several games at the Tip-Off Classic a couple weekends ago. Jenna Buer knocks down the corner three to break a 14-14 tie. Lumpkin thought about it, skips it over to McGee. Benilde-St. Margaret's will reset. Now Lumpkin gets the opening she was looking for, and that's why.
Good ball movement, Mike. That ball movement was the setup. It set up that jump shot.
Olson taking a breather. Buer with a pump fake. Pulls up. Elbow J short. We're tied at 17. McGee. She's got Buer on her. Skips it again to Lumpkin. Back-to-back triples.
Benilde keeps shooting like that. They're going to pull Holy Angels out of Mike, out of their zone. Oh, good block.
Kendall McGee says, "Get out of here." Jason, you might have a point. We were talking about the Holy Angels three-point shooting. Well, now you've got back-to-back threes from Lumpkin. who has plenty of lineage when it comes to athletics. Her big brother played Division I basketball at Northwestern. Pritchard, turn around, no good.
She really does it all.
Yeah, that was a slide. Right idea on the pump fake, but slid her feet just a little too much there.
Definitely.
I'm sure that never happened to you as a player.
I wish I could say that.
It happens a little more than you think at the high school level, and that's not a knock on the players. Just sometimes you know what you want to do, and you forget you have to bounce the ball first.
Yep.
That pass went off of Buer's face. Olson finds her target, but Kate Kapsner didn't have the best position for it. She finds Olson. Bullseye. And that is how you make lemonade out of lemons.
I tell you what, they keep heating it up like this, they're going to have to come out of that zone, Mike. They're going to have to go some man here.
Steal on the run out for Lumpkin. That's 8 points for the senior.
Might be a good time to get a timeout. I feel a change in the momentum.
Absolutely. An 11-0 run for Benilde-St. Margaret's by my count. And it could grow here. Lumpkin collects the loose ball. Olson is there. Count it.
Is there anything Olson can't do, Mike?
I'd say dunk, but if I say that one too many times,
she might surprise you.
I was going to say she'll start practicing that move.
She's just a complete player, all-around player. She does it on both ends as well.
And you know what? Maybe she will flush it at some point because Olson likes to pattern her game after Elena Deladon and Kevin Durant. And it's a 14-0 run for the Red Knights. Stars hanging on to their timeouts.
Which we hope is not to their detriment. I think if I were coaching right now, this would be a good time to call a timeout and try to regroup.
Touch three for Caron, no good. Olson chases down the rebound. Benilde-St. Margaret's has numbers, and McGee will shoot two. It is an interesting part of strategy that doesn't get discussed a lot. I did the Eden Prairie Eastridge game for Junior All-Star, and EP went on a big run in the second half. Eastridge elected to hold on to their timeouts, and they weren't able to work their way back in it. So there's a balancing act.
There is. I think it helps too I've developed kind of a philosophy, and my philosophy is we call timeouts for breaks, takes, and get you awakes. So the breaks are when we want to put the brakes on the other team, not when we need a break, but when we need to put the brakes on the other team because they've gone on a 14-15-0 run. Takes because we've got some observations, and then just to wake our team up. So breaks, takes, and get you awakes. It's kind of how we do it.
Well, another way to get awake is knock down a three, as Celia Lynn just did. Holy Angels brings the pressure again. McGee breaks it.
Good pass.
No look pass to Wells.
It's a great pocket pass, Mike.
Olson timed the outlet. Almost. And Buer is fouled. .6:49 left in the first half. This game has the makings of a shootout. 31-20. Maybe not a surprise. Another three. This time, it grazes the front iron. Bishop finds Wells. Tough pass, though. And Lind collects the steal.
I think she threw that one away, Mike. Good idea. She had the right idea.
Right idea. And I will say Olson got there just at the last moment. That might have disrupted Buer's rhythm.
Definitely. She would have been better off just picking it up and then making the pass and instead of trying to throw it in rhythm.
Olson, deep three. She is going to Michigan.
And you did say Kevin Durant too, right?
Yep, Durant and Deladon.
There's a little bit of Durant in that shot there, I would say.
Kaylee Caron trying to flex her range. Red Knights on the move. McGee. Bullseye. McGee with 8.
Again, I think now would be a good time for. I think they're just playing out of desperation. They're just launching up threes. They're trying to get it all back in one shot. This would be a great time to call a timeout.
20-3 run for the Red Knights. 3 ball. Wells, board. Another chance. Wells again. Well, not quite. Holy Angels will get it on the arrow, but Jason, in terms of flow, I would agree with you. Holy Angels, they're struggling right now.
They are. And like I said, Mike, it looks like they're trying to get it back all in one shot. They're launching up threes.
Dan Woods did say this was going to be a barometer game for Holy Angels, even though both sides know this isn't the money game per se.
I think both teams will learn a lot from this game.
Olson steals
In and out
the
dribble.
entry pass, and like McGee, Olson and her use of body mechanics. What I find most fascinating about those two, their ability to use the body to draw fouls if they can't get a shot to go in.
Yeah, they lean into the contact as opposed to running away from it.
Or in the case of the Eden Prairie game, there were a couple of players who tried to force contact. Olivia Olson knocks down both free throws. You may know this, Jason, when she's not playing hoops, she runs her own lawn care business.
I did not know that, Mike. Thanks for that nugget.
You see all the connections? You could go to Elizabeth Pierce for swim lessons, and if your lawn needs any work, just hit up Olivia.
That's right.
So St. Agnes, they're not in the same class.
No, not at
so
all.
yeah, you don't have to worry about
No conflict of interest.
no right, no none whatsoever. Olivia could steal all the secrets she wanted to, and it won't me to think. 36-20. Jason, Holy Angels was up 10-2 early in this half.
Yep.
Pritchard back in the game. Go ahead.
I was just going to say they were up 10-2, and I think what got Benilde back into this game is they got accustomed, or they got used to that scrappy defense, and they realized how to break it in the backcourt to get the ball in the front court, and they've been scoring ever since.
And they'll get free throws here with Benilde-St. Margaret's in the bonus. And the other aspect to that, even if you don't get scoring plays right away, you break that press, you're going to have numbers to work with.
Yeah, and it gives you momentum. Going forward, it gives you momentum.
This is Sydney Fridley, the 8th grader for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Splits at the line. Look at Olson. She's everywhere.
Another turnover.
And she won't get credit for the steal, but I think Olson was responsible for that turnover.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, Mike. She's really causing some havoc with those long arms in the backcourt.
Long, lanky, and darn athletic, if you ask me.
Very athletic.
Lumpkin takes the bounce pass away. Olson. Tough angle there. Well, Holy Angels are getting some stops here. So defensively, they have rediscovered some of their spunk. Can they translate it into points? Because as Bill Walton would say, this game is far from over. 3:56 left. And that foul assessed to Fridley. Red Knights still with 3 to give. Pierce. I should say that was Pritchard to O'Rourke. Long two, a bit long.
Looks like we got a foul down there.
Olson got a little too grabby with Pritchard in the battle of number ones.
They've got a few fouls to give.
That's just the first on Olson.
Only 4th team foul, so they've got a few fouls yet to give.
I think there was some miscommunication on the inbound. Lumpkin misses the layup, but Zahara Bishop is there for cleanup duty.
Looks like we got a double dribble there. Almost got away with it.
Jason, I think another thing in Benilde-St. Margaret's favor, they've had trailers. How many times have we seen second chance points just because they had somebody in the vicinity to collect a miss?
Yeah, and that comes with hard work. That's just hustling to the ball. That's all it is, Mike.
Well, this Red Knights team, when Tim Ellefson took the head coaching job, a lot of lofty expectations were placed on this program with all the talent they had. That was touched, so no backcourt call. Lumpkin. The bounce pass was intercepted. I believe that was Pritchard who got the reach.
Good defense. Up until that point.
Good defense, but in that case, better offense.
Better offense, no doubt.
By Holy Angels. Kira
No
O'Rourke.
doubt.
That was a big three in terms of momentum.
That was, Mike. They needed that.
Lumpkin.
But you can't give up an easy two.
Well, they haven't given up one just yet. Kira O'Rourke making sure of that. And O'Rourke, I know Holy Angels has struggled a bit defensively, but O'Rourke has made several clutch plays.
She has.
O'Rourke, the junior, and again, emblematic of that Holy Angels system, whether it was Frankie Vassalero or Rachel Kowicki, Destiny Oberg. Now it's Caron with the steal. Long two.
Probably not the best shot.
I might have waited for help, but Holy Angels gets another chance. Nothing to show for it there. Bishop had Pierce on her. That's a tough ask no matter what. And then Lumpkin races down the other end.
Great hustle.
We are getting a little bit of everything, aren't we? Less than 2 minutes to go. Pierce.
Another turnover.
And Holy Angels, they've struggled a little bit when it comes to the passing routes. They've run into some headwinds.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Mike, it almost looks like to me that they're playing out of desperation right now.
Extra pass. Olson, look out. Pure. You did say she was showing a little bit of that Kevin Durant game. And Deladon, no lack of range on her end either. McGee with the block. I think that's her second. And she can't get the coast-to-coast play, but Olivia Olson was the trailer, and she'll go to the line for two. Olivia Olson, a decorated resume. Back in 21, she won a gold medal with the United States, for the FIBA U16 World Cup. Dealt with some injuries that limited her AAU season. Some were tabbing her as the next Paige Beckers, and I don't know if I would say that. I wouldn't want to put that kind of pressure on anybody, but Olivia is etching her name into the increasingly lengthy list of legacy here in Minnesota.
She's making a name for herself.
Red Knights with a chance to add to their lead. McGee for three. Short. Red Knights up by 19. There's another quick three for the Stars.
A little too quick there, Mike. I think Benilde will probably hold it for the last shot, I'm assuming here, Mike.
They called a foul on Kaylee Caron.
If she makes one of these free throws, if she misses one, I should say, it was actually a good foul because it's going to give Holy Angels another opportunity to score before going into half here.
Sierra Lumpkin at the line. And she knocks down both. Benilde-St. Margaret's 12 of 14 from the line. High-low, Holy Angels.
Good look. Good basket cut, good pass.
Gets the score out of it. Time winding down. And that brings us to halftime. Jason, we were talking about the Holy Angels' pressure defense, their quickness. Benilde-St. Margaret's, after they trailed 17-14, they have built a 19-point advantage, 46-27, including a 13-0 run. The Red Knights are rolling right now.
They are, and Benilde did that, Mike. Like I said earlier, they did a good job of handling that press in the back court. When they got the ball in the front court, all it was left to do was just to score the ball. And they're doing a good job of that, Mike.
They're doing a fantastic job, but there's still 18 more minutes to play. So don't put this one in the win column just yet for the Red Knights. We'll see if Holy Angels can mount a response when we come back. You're watching high school girls basketball. Benilde-St. Margaret's leads Holy Angels 46-27. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot. It goes in. And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want us to add anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Mike Peden and Jason Sandifer with you at the Haven Center. Benilde-St. Margaret's is the place, and the Red Knights have a big lead over the Holy Angels Stars, 46-27. Jason, Holy Angels led 10-2, and it looked like for a while that they were going to build that patented run of theirs. All of a sudden, Benilde-St. Margaret's found a way to get past that press, and then offensive output increased exponentially.
Yeah, and I think you said it, Mike. They handled that press in the back court. Once they got into the front court, they were able to convert, and I think that's what got them this lead. That's where they're at now. So,
and looking at the first half numbers, Olivia Olson with 15 points, Sierra Lumpkin with 10, Kendall McGee has 8, Zahara Bishop 7 off the bench. So Benilde-St. Margaret's getting it done all around. Holy Angels, Jenna Buer with 10 points. Pierce and Kennedy have 4, and you noted this as Benilde-St. Margaret's built that big run. Holy Angels fired a lot of quick threes.
They did, yeah, and I think that's what kind of hurt them. I think they were trying to get it back in a hurry, in too much of a hurry, and try to cut into that lead. But again, you can't do it with one shot, Mike. It's just going to be patience, stops on one end, makes on the other, quality shots at least on the other end.
Long way to go, though, so Holy Angels can get themselves back in it. That's a good starting point. O'Rourke with the strip on Olson. Buer, 3 no good. And Olivia is vertical. Sky's up for another rebound.
She's able to keep it alive there, too. It's that length. She's got the length, Mike.
A foul is called. Jason, apparently neither team is going to sit around and
I'm not sure what happened there, Mike.
I was saying it from the looks of it. Neither team is going to wait for too long to get a shot.
Not at all.
That's what I was going to say.
They'll continue this pace. I think if I were Holy Angels right now, though, I would probably come out of that press. I think that's where they're getting hurt the most, is in the press. But it looks like we got a foul. Wasn't too sure about that one.
They're calling this
Maybe there
an
was a foul?
intentional foul? I saw the X signal from the official. It's on McGee.
I guess I'd like to see that one again, Mike.
They're going to call an intentional foul on McGee. So Kaylee Caron is going to the line. Holy Angels will get 2 free throws in the ball. I didn't see a whole lot there.
I didn't either, Mike. I'd like to see that again, like I said.
That's not to say it didn't happen, but it wasn't clear to me. Kaylee Caron, the 4th daughter in the Caron clan, also a volleyball crossover. Her nickname is Smalls, even though she's not that small anymore. That kind of stuck.
It sticks with you.
Caron splits at the line, so Holy Angels gets the ball here following the intentional foul.
Good backdoor cut. Oh.
And a wedgie. Now, in the event of a wedgie, we're going to see who's going to get the ball. This is always fun. Well, of course, Olivia can get it.
Well, it came out as she went up. I don't know if you saw that. It started to kind of come out.
I think that that ball knew, okay, she's coming. I better get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, in the event of a wedgie, it is ruled a jump ball, so Holy Angels gets it on the arrow. Usually you get 1 or 2 of those each year.
That was definitely a weird way to end a great play. You had a great backdoor cut with a great pass.
I've seen my share of wedgies, and then last year it was Grace Massaquoi at Holy Angels who pulled off perhaps the most brilliant of feats. She had a bunny rest on the cylinder.
Oh, wow.
Not a wedgie. She got it to rest perfectly on the back of the cylinder.
That doesn't happen often at all.
I'll tell you what happens often, though. Kendall McGee 3-pointers. Olivia Olson with a dime. Go ahead.
I think at this point, Mike, I'm coming out of the full court pressure. I'm going into man defense and just trying to get stops at this point. Right now, I think they're giving up too many easy buckets in transition here.
Holy Angels pressing again. Olson to McGee, pump fake. And it will stay with Holy Angels with 16:26 to go. Or, yep, Benilde-St. Margaret's. Wasn't quite sure.
I don't even know if the refs were sure on that one, Mike.
Well, Bishop is sure. She draws the foul before the shot. Now, she's not listed on the coaching staff, but I should point this out, Jason, since we mentioned Elena Deladon earlier. One of the members patrolling the Benilde-St. Margaret's bench is Bria Hartley. Pritchard picks up her 3rd foul. And we'll try this again. (49-30). And another Holy Angels foul. This one is on Pierce, and that is her 3rd.
It's going to be interesting to see how long they're going to stay in this zone, Mike. Looks like they're manning up now, which I think is a good idea. And maybe not. Still in the zone.
Kaylee Caron got the poke and found Buer.
If you can get a team to give you the ball like that, it doesn't matter what kind of defense you're in.
Two schools with plenty of history in the sport of girls basketball. Holy Angels with a couple of state titles, one all the way back in 1975, the first year. It was a sanctioned sport, and then 2016 in Class 3A, Destiny Oberg and Laura Bagwell-Katalinik, a big part of that unit. Benilde-St. Margaret's winning a pair of titles in 06 and 2010. That 06
Good
team.
save.
Well, Kendall McGee racing ahead. Now Buer looking for the outlet. Bishop read it.
Bishop playing free safety out there.
O'Rourke again. Pierce got the loose ball, but it was O'Rourke who made the initial play. Kaylee Caron can't knock down the three. I was going to say before that flurry. Well, I'll have a chance to say it because Holy Angels calls a timeout. I was going to say, you might remember the 2016, Kasheen Alexander was a part of that group at Benilde-St. Margaret's that won it all in Class 3A, and then, of course, she had a sensational career at Iowa.
Yeah, and that Benilde team was a very, very good team.
And then the Red Knights won it again in 2010. And they have a banner celebrating everyone who reached the 1,000 point club in boys and girls basketball.
Yeah, I see that over there.
And some names that might ring a bell. Kasheen Alexander, of course. Azaria Jackson-Sherrod, who's now an official.
Yep.
You might have seen her at a few games.
I have.
Khadijah Shumpert, Josie Dillon, Grace Coughlin. And up until last year, Holy Angels had that lengthy streak of state tournament appearances in Class 3A. So these two usually find a way to get in the conversation. Olson steps into the three, and that did everything but go in. Looked like a miscommunication on that route they wanted to set up.
I think so. Mike, I think if Holy Angels loses this game, I think there's two different things that you got to look at here. One was about the 8-minute mark in the first half. Should they have called a timeout? The second thing is I haven't seen much in terms of adjustments coming into the second half here. We'll see if how that plays out going forward.
Remember, they were up 10-2 early in the half and then got up 17-14. Caron again committed to the three ball. Ella Pritchard. Now that's someone we haven't called a lot yet. Pritchard known more for her defensive acumen, but she was starting to turn things up on offense too this year.
Yeah. Plays real well around the bucket.
That has been her sweet spot for a long time. Pritchard averaging 10.5 points per game this year. And entering this game, nobody with more than 13 points per game, but you had 4 double-digit scores in Pritchard, Caron, Buer, and O'Rourke. Pritchard blanks at the line. And Bishop draws a foul on Buer.
I think she might have gotten bailed out there, Mike. It looked like she was heading for a walking call, a travel call there.
Instead, Buer is hit with her third foul. Bishop in trouble. Gets out of it. McGee lines up the three. Offensive rebound, Friedley. McGee short on the take. Lynn, another three. Now Buer fires away and hits. Holy Angels unapologetic about the three ball, but Benilde-St. Margaret's another fast break play.
I'm going to say it again, Mike. They've got to come out of this full court pressure. If they're going to go full court pressure, it's got to be man right now because the zone's not working.
And Pritchard picks up her fourth foul as a result. Wells with 5 points.
Olivia Olson.
And the lefty splits again. Benilde-St. Margaret's, though, 13 of 16 at the line. Pretty solid clip. And as I continue watching Holy Angels here, Jason, compared to the Hutchinson game, the Stars having a monstrously difficult time with interior penetration. You know, Pritchard being in foul trouble certainly doesn't help, but it seems like they're settling for a lot of threes. Of course, the three-point shot is a big tool these days, but you don't want to go to it exclusively.
No, and I would agree. I think you said the key was settling. Right now they're not trying to get to the bucket as much, with the exception of that play, but they're not trying to get to the bucket as much. They're just settling for the three-point shot. It's not falling. It's got them down by, 15 now, so.
Well, Pritchard has a chance to cut that margin considerably after the basket and the foul. And I'm not saying they should stop shooting threes, but if you can get a couple of plays for Pritchard, well, that can open up the perimeter considerably.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's about getting quality shots. You can get turnovers on one end, but if you're not getting quality shots on the other end, it's not going to do you much good.
Big three-point play, though, for Pritchard, and Holy Angels sticking with that pressure defense. McGee short on the layup. A chance for the Stars to get some energy. Quick three. Buer tracked her own miss.
Good hustle. Very good hustle.
Lind left alone. And Jason, I wonder if Benilde-St. Margaret's has Buer is hit with her fourth foul. I'm wondering if the Red Knights are leaving that arc open defensively. In the sense like, okay, until they can knock down some threes with regularity, we'll concede that spot on the floor.
I think that's part of it, but I think part of it too, Mike, is Benilde and Holy Angels, they both play a lot of scramble defense. They take a lot of risks, they play a lot of scramble defense, so you're going to get a lot of open looks that way, at least from behind the three-point line. And right now, Holy Angels just isn't able to convert.
Olson, oh boy.
Good move.
Anytime Olson leads the fast break, you're going to get at least one razzle-dazzle move.
She is very, very athletic, Mike.
Athletic and cunning. That's a foul on Najee. So Buer has 4 fouls. Pritchard has 4 fouls. And the Stars in a pickle. They're going to call a timeout.
It wasn't a bad call there.
52-36, 12-12. Stars in a jam. And Jason, it appears they are committed to that pressure defense. So you mentioned maybe going to more man instead of zone, but what are some things you can do if you're going to stick with this man-to-man, try to create turnovers the way they're doing? What adjustments can you make to help get yourself back in this game?
Well, again, if they're going to stick with this zone defense, the one thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to hustle back because they're playing full court. They're getting beat in the backcourt. and then they're not hustling back to the front court to stop any open layup. So I think you're going to have to pick that up, and then you're just going to have to start knocking down shots because they're not shying away from this three-point shot. They're going to continue to shoot it. They've got to at some point they've got to knock that three-point shot down.
Olivia Olson, by the way, who scored the last bucket for Benilde-St. Margaret's, was considered the most likely to make highlight reels in the breakdown book.
No surprise there, Mike.
Well, Kendall McGee might be a close second. Actually, there's quite a few players who would fit that bill. Well, you're not going to fault Najee for trying to get the loose ball there.
That was a good hustle, but I think Holy Angels hit that last. She would have been better off just letting it go out of bounds.
You know how it goes, though, Jason. I'm sure this crossed your mind once or twice as a player. You don't want to leave it to chance. If you think there's a play, you go for it. You don't want to wait for the official to make a call, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Well,
been there a time or two.
Kendall McGee draws the foul, and who's it going to be on?
Take your pick.
Well, it's because of the foul tally here. That's why I'm curious. They call it on Kaylee Caron. And that's her fourth. 11:49 left. That's a lot of time to have 3 players with 4 fouls. But McGee, one of those players, this is one reason she's on so many highlight reels. Using her body, leaning into her body.
Yeah. She does a good job of that, leaning into the contact.
And that's what the best slashers can do. That was a gutsy play by Kaylee Caron just after getting her 4th foul. It pays off there. When she was doubling up Josie Najee, I was wondering, okay, that's a big chance there.
Coach was holding his breath over there, I can guarantee that.
McGee cuts through 2 defenders. Can't get the finish. Look who's there. I've said that more than once, but the way Olson and McGee can support each other. And that's it for Ella Pritchard. So she's out with 11:22 to go.
Still quite a bit of game left, Mike.
And when you talk about highlight reels, McGee and Olson from Benilde-St. Margaret's, 2 who can certainly do that.
Yeah.
Of course, you and I saw plenty of others who can do the same at opening weekend. I think of Madden Greenway, of course, at Providence Academy. She's made the highlight reel a few times. The Hopkins trio of Woodson, Aguera, and Liv McGill.
Going back to Pritchard fouling out, Mike, I guess I don't blame her as much. Again, it's this pressure defense that they're trying to play right now. It's got them scrambling. They're doing the best. These girls are doing the best that they can. But at some point, Mike, I'm going to say it again, you've got to switch it up. You've got to make some adjustments.
Well, and I remember a discussion we had at the Hutchinson game when Holy Angels executed that pressure defense to better effect. One downside to that, if you're not careful, it runs the risk of getting called for more fouls. We saw that in the Hutchinson game.
Yeah.
If you have the depth to do it, you can throw caution to the wind. But now, Holy Angels without their strongest interior presence, and we still have 11:03 to go. And that's the last foul to give for the Red Knights. Well, we didn't plan on going anywhere. We might be here a little while. But neither team backing away from that in-your-face defense.
Not at all.
Ooh. That was close.
That was very close, Mike.
That was close. Jenna Buer on the attack. I know she likes to line it up from three-point range, but if she can get a couple of attacks to go down like that, maybe that opens up a lane.
And I think that's what you want. Oh, there's both hands on her.
Both hands, and that's it for Kaylee Caron. So Caron is done with 4 points. What were you going to say, Jason?
I don't
She had
remember.
she had both hands.
Both hands, yeah.
I think you're allowed one hand on somebody.
You can, a forearm. It's no
forearm.
longer hands because it's too controlling. It can't be an open hand. It's got to be a forearm.
Tough break for Kaylee.
It is, Mike.
It was 1-1 for the Red Knights, so an empty possession there, but they still lead big, 55-38, and Holy Angels. That rotation is going to get tested here. Pritchard and Kaylee Caron both out.
Another contested shot, fourth shot, I think.
Kendall McGee on the other end.
At the other end.
14 points for McGee as Benilde-St. Margaret's runs another transition play. Well, give Holy Angels credit there. I mean, if officials are going to call the game the way they are, and this is not to say they're calling it too tight, but you take advantage of the circumstances. If they're going to call a lot of contact,
yeah, you got to look for the contact.
Right, go for it. Try to draw it.
Yeah, you definitely got to look for the contact.
Get yourself at the line and give yourself a chance to collect yourself. Celia Lind in the game. And Lind sinks both. And now Holy Angels gets the steal. Buer in trouble.
Out of travel. That was a good call.
Yeah, Buer was hopping a little bit.
A little bit of a dance there.
Three ball, corner pocket. McGee with the dime, Bishop with the tray. Zahara's got 10. Buer, fadeaway, no good. Olson bounces it to Bishop. The skip to McGee, the extra pass. Adds an extra bit of flair. McGee with 16. It feels like more.
Yeah, it does.
Well, she might get 2 more.
That's why I had to look down to make sure you were right about 16.
Well, look at the numbers, though. Olson 19, McGee 16, Lumpkin and Bishop with 10.
Pretty balanced.
And the last time I was here against Eden Prairie, it was mostly McGee and Olson.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned at the start of that game that was going to be the test, and that's... Okay, that's the second foul on Buer. No, Bishop. Buer's just getting a breather. Lumpkin. 3 is short. This is Molly O'Malley.
Oh.
McGee again.
Jeez. Wow, Mike.
An emphatic rejection. Her third block.
Jeez. There was some anger behind that block, Mike.
I think it's safe to say McGee plays a lot bigger than her 5'7", 5'8" frame.
Oh, wow.
Next to her, I'd feel pretty small. And that's a foul on Wismer. Now both teams in the penalty. So chance for Holy Angels to get some points at the line, but
Stop the clock in the process.
8:47, 22-point margin.
I still would like to see them make some adjustments here, Mike. Haven't seen much by way of adjustments this second half.
Well, and I've talked to Dan Woods many times over the years with Holy Angels games. I'm not saying this is by intent, but when you know that this is the first of 2 meetings, maybe you don't want to show everything just yet.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but for the sake of the girls, they're playing their hearts out. I think you owe it to them to make some adjustments. And I get it from a coaching perspective. You get so hyper-focused on the big picture that sometimes you miss the details. But you're hoping that your assistant coaches then can hold you accountable, and then you can make those adjustments that you need to make, Mike.
Well, the Stars knew they were going to be in for a challenge. And both Tim Ellison and Dan Woods have been around long enough to tell you that what happens today may have no bearing whatsoever if they meet again in the section final.
Yep, I would agree.
Remember, it was Holy Angels who got a big win last year in the regular season. Then they ran into a funk from the floor, and then Benilde-St. Margaret's was able to score that surprise win.
Yeah, where it could make a difference, though, Mike, is the swagger, right? You go into the next game, if you're Benilde-St. Margaret, you've got a little more swagger now. You got a little more confidence. So that could be a telling tale, too.
Well, Holy Angels, they get Chanhassen on Tuesday, and then next Thursday they go on the road to play another section opponent in Orono. And the Spartans, a potential sleeper team. Benilde-St. Margaret's gets De La Salle, and based on this game and based on how they've played, Jason, a big one over Minnehaha. McGee, another 3. Not that time. Based on these last couple of games, you look at the schedule, Benilde-St. Margaret's, they could be the team to beat in the Metro West.
I would not disagree with you there, Mike.
The last couple of years, it was Chaska's conference for the taking, and that could still happen. Chaska, anytime you've got a Kennedy Sanders type of athlete in your team, big things can happen as we've got a little hot potato going on. Holy Angels all alone, and Pierce will shoot 2.
Good foul. Take that foul over an easy bucket.
Make them earn it, as coaches would say. And Benilde-St. Margaret's had plenty to work with. So Pierce at the line, as we noted, a certified lifeguard. Hey, if it wasn't for people like her, you couldn't take up those swim meets. I mean, that's not the best way of putting it. Those get-togethers.
And I just laugh, Mike, because I can't swim and I need to take swim lessons.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe talk to Pierce, or if you have any connections, see if the coaching staff, as we've got a timeout here for Benilde-St. Margaret's. You know what? Give one of them a call. Maybe they'll hook you up. I don't know what Elizabeth Pierce's commission rate is. I'm sure she'd be happy to teach you a thing or two. 64-43, 7:51 to go. But going back to the Metro West, the reason I mentioned that Benilde-St. Margaret's could be a team to watch, last night Chaska hosted St. Michael Albertville. You may have heard about this. STMA won big, 97 points. 51 for Tessa Johnson, a school record.
Yeah, that was huge.
And that is a club that has grown exponentially over the last few years. Before, you had maybe 2 or 3 for years that had a 50 burger. And now they're happening much more frequently.
They are. They really are. And I think one, like I told you, I think a couple weeks ago too, when we had a discussion about the shot clock. I think you're going to see a dip in points per game, but I think once they get adjusted, these kids get adjusted to that shot clock, you're going to see a big uptick in points per game.
Well, especially for the teams that maybe don't play as quick or as brisk as these two. This is Olivia Olson, short on the 15-footer.
They might get another opportunity. Kick out. Good pass. Nice fake.
Bishop short on the take. Once again, Olivia Olson, if officials are going to call the contact plays, go for it.
Take advantage of it.
Right, you might get a foul call out of it.
Yeah, right now, Holy Angels is just having a tough time getting a rebound.
Well, you've got that lengthy Olson.
The absence of Pritchard, that doesn't help much either.
I find that interesting, though, when you mention that you could see a dip in points per game, because most of the teams that we've seen usually don't lay back.
No,
they don't
you're
run
right.
those extended sets. I think the units that would be most affected are maybe a Rosemount or a Roseville, where they don't floor it as much as these two do. Hopkins, they don't need a clock. Neither does STMA.
Minnehaha doesn't need a clock.
No, they don't. Providence certainly doesn't need one.
No.
On the line, good for 2. That's Erin Kennedy as Holy Angels tries to get back in this.
You saw her on that line from here, Mike?
It looked that way.
Big guy.
I saw that fast break layup too. Mackenzie Wells looked pretty good there.
Yes, she did.
Now that is definitely a 3. I did not see any part of Lynn's body over the line.
Not at all. She was a good foot back, Mike.
Olivia Olson pickpockets Celia Lynn and might want that outlet pass back. Another deep 3.
Too quick. It's not the shot you want.
But the outcome you wanted nonetheless. Kira O'Rourke to the line. 2 more freebies coming. But again, Benilde-St. Margaret's, in terms of players, they still have some fouls to work with. Bishop just picking up her 3rd. O'Rourke, though, it's hard to tab any breakout player with Holy Angels because of the system they run. But given O'Rourke and her defensive brilliance in the first half and what she has done this last couple of years, she might be one of those players.
She might, Mike.
Whoa, Sierra Lumpkin with a friendly bounce. Doesn't matter how clean it is as long as it goes in, right?
That's right.
Whoa! Jenna Buer with a layup going across. Now that is a tough shot to pull off.
That was a tough shot, Mike. What you're going to see now, though, Mike, is if Benilde-St. Margaret's doesn't get sloppy or careless with the ball, you're going to see the fatigue start to set in for Holy Angels. They've been playing this up-tempo game style all game. What happened there, Mike?
What happened there? Well, you were saying outside of a sloppy pass. That's what happened. And then there's a foul.
Yeah, but like I was saying, you're going to see the fatigue start to set in now. Holy Angels has been trying to play this full court pressure game all afternoon, and it's going to start to work against them here, I think, Mike.
Let's not forget to put the emphasis on sloppy passes, because if you make a bad pass, it doesn't matter how fatigued the opponent is. Sierra Lumpkin, as we mentioned, a lot of family lineage in athletics. She was on the volleyball team that won silver in Class 3A this year. Another 3 for the Stars. O'Rourke goes up. Not that time. 5:37. Benilde-St. Margaret still up big, 72-54. McGee in trouble, and I think that was a bailout foul in the sense that McGee was backpedaling.
She was still in the back court.
I think there was still a few seconds left before the 10-second rule came into play. But you have McGee backed up, and then you give her a trip to the line.
Yeah, and I think, again, Mike, it's the fatigue starting to set in here. You're going to see some fatigue here.
And McGee with a chance to pad her numbers. Again, already has a 31-point game to her credit. And I've got her at 18. Again, it seems pedestrian when you know that Olson and McGee can light it up, but it goes back to the supporting cast. And if Benilde-St. Margaret's can find that kind of production from folks like Lumpkin and Bishop consistently, that is going to make a huge difference. That was the missing piece from last year's Benilde-St. Margaret's team.
I would agree with you, Mike. They didn't have the supporting cast.
That being said, it was a big stride for them to get back to state, because a couple years ago it was just Olivia Olson. Then they got Kendall McGee. And now, if you can build around those two, in 3A, depth goes a long way. You don't have to be 2 rotations deep, per se, but get enough people working, and you can go far. I think that fatigue you were talking about is starting to appear. Unless you're Sierra Lumpkin. I don't think Sierra looks tired at all. Now, there are a lot of advantages to the style of play that Holy Angels implements. Hopkins, they run a similar style, Providence Academy. But it is a huge test of endurance and stamina as Kendall McGee scores on the take.
It is, and then when you run into a team like a Benilde-St. Margaret's, who is just as talented as a Hopkins team, probably not quite as talented, but very talented indeed, you're going to run into some problems.
Well, talented enough to be a force in 3A. Kira O'Rourke with the 3 from the key. Here's McGee.
Definitely got some fatigue setting in here.
And Benilde-St. Margaret's with a little more in the reserves. Olivia Olson was close to getting another entry on that highlight reel of hers. That bang-bang play with McGee. Those two, I think the chemistry they've developed since joining forces last year is really showing now.
Pretty special. So what do we got going on here now?
Apparently there was an issue with substitutions.
I'm not sure what's going on here. Somebody fouled out.
Jenna Buer fouled out. But I think the issue was over the substitution.
Gotcha.
So Buer will leave. 17 points. Solid game for her. And Olson will finish up her trip to the free throw line here. And Olson with, dare I say, a quiet 23 points, with most of them coming at the free throw line as of late. And we're going to get some more free throws here.
If you're Benilde, you just want this game to be over. You don't want to keep fouling.
You've done enough to get the win. Pierce at the line. Now, Holy Angels, some games of note. They'll be favorites in the Tri-Metro, but De La Salle has that group of sophomores that could do some damage. And then the Stars, as Olson lost control of it, the Stars will end the regular season at Providence Academy to finish up a home-and-home series there. That's going to be a tough way to close out the season.
It's going to be
but
heck
probably
of a way.
I was going to say probably the best way to prepare yourself, though.
You're absolutely right, Mike. Absolutely right.
Now, again, Holy Angels, to me, still the favorites to win the Tri-Metro, but Robbinsdale Cooper, they've picked up a couple of surprise wins.
They have.
They beat De La Salle last night. And that is a Plinko bounce for Anna Delsing. No $10,000 slot to be found here, but that gets you 3 points.
Yeah.
And Kendall McGee's going to go to the line. Well, I imagine Holy Angels will make some adjustments. And as far as this game goes, if another 3 or 2 goes down, maybe that changes the complexion of the game. There are just so many ways a game can break.
Yeah.
And another observation that I recall from my pregame conversations, some were saying one of these teams could win by 20. It wouldn't surprise me. Any outcome really is up for grabs here.
Just depends on what group of girls shows up.
What group, how many shots go in. You can run some brilliant plays, but if shots don't go down, like we said before, you can run into trouble. This isn't the kind of outcome. It's going to raise some eyebrows, but wait, what the?
There's some confusion there.
Well, I know I'm confused, but that doesn't take much. I get confused on a daily basis.
You and me both.
But I was going to say, this isn't the kind of outcome where you would want to extrapolate it and say, well, that's it. Holy Angels is done.
Not at all. They'll bounce back, Mike.
And this seems to be a trend. When you play a team more than once, those subsequent meetings usually get a lot closer.
Yeah, as a coach, as a coaching staff, you start to figure things out, and you figure out ways to play them better. Maybe you go, if you've got a player like Olson, maybe you go a little boxing one on her. You start to figure things out.
If you're a Holy Angels fan, this certainly isn't the outcome you were looking for, but I wouldn't take this as reason for panic either. Remember, the Stars were undefeated coming into this game with some big wins over Grand Rapids. Double dribble call there. They had a big win over Grand Rapids, another big win over Shakopee. They have taken on some top caliber teams, a couple of state tournament participants, and won.
Yeah, like I said, they'll bounce back from this, Mike. They'll be okay.
No, they'll have plenty of chances to do so. And for Benilde-St. Margaret's, looked like O'Malley had a couple of hands on Najee there. Well, they called the foul that time. It's just one of those things you look for when you point it out, when you're like, you're only allowed a forearm.
Yeah.
And I'm not rooting for one team over another.
No.
It's just every game there's something different.
Yep.
So we're going to get some more free throws here. And that gets Kira Wismer on the board. And Pierce will go out. 2 minutes to go. And how about this for Benilde-St. Margaret's? 90, yes, I should say Thursday against Minnehaha Academy. They've got 84 here. And I know you were looking at the numbers beforehand and mesmerized by that high points per game output.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're averaging about 80 points a game.
But they have the tools to do it, though.
Yeah, they do.
A few years ago, like I said, just 2 years ago, it was Olivia Olson running the show. Then you got Kendall McGee, and it looks like you have the potential to get some supporters around those two. Como Park and Becker, those were two teams that would light it up in recent years. Well, Becker's still lighting it up. They got that big win over Eden Prairie last night to go with their win over Providence Academy. Holy Angels will call a timeout. Celia Lynn gets the three there. And that Becker win over EP, when I talked about it with some folks ahead of time, they said that's probably going to make Becker the big favorite to win it in 3A. That doesn't mean Benilde-St. Margaret's can't do it, or, well, Totino Grace. No one saw them winning it all, and then Hannah Herzig had other ideas, just took the team on her back, and that was enough.
Yeah, you just never know. I think with Benilde this year, too, not only do you have the offensive firepower, but you got the defensive presence to go along with it.
.121 to go in a lengthy second half. And Holy Angels, we should point this out too, they're still waiting on some key contributors. One of them, Vivian Carter, who logged some minutes last year, not quite ready to play yet. It looks like, though, the big names for Benilde-St. Margaret's are calling it a day.
Think so.
And Celia Lynn with a quick 5 points.
Totino's not giving up.
Well, and you can't. As we were saying before, this may be the first of 2 meetings. And for some of these younger players, well, they're trying to make an impression. So if it looks like you're loafing or not giving it your best, the coaches will take notice of that.
You might not
no matter what the score is.
You might not see the court again.
Well, one of my broadcast buddies from a couple years ago, as Molly O'Malley missed the 3, made note of that. You know, do you play to the highlight reel or do you play until the whistle blows?
It's like we got another foul here, Mike.
Because, yeah, it's not fun to be on the receiving end of a runaway game like this, but there's not a whole lot at stake in the grand scheme of it. Really, this determines who will be seated where, but since the section final is at Chanhassen, it doesn't really matter if you're a 1 or a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, I think there'll be some good learnings for both teams. Good takeaways.
And I think for Benilde-St. Margaret's coming into this, I wasn't sure how they'd respond. You got a big one over Minnehaha where you dropped 90. As we'll have another timeout here. Delsing scores. Another concept you're probably familiar with, I wouldn't say trap game, but how do you follow up a big game? When you get a big win, you drop 90 points against a perennial contender. How do you follow up a performance like that? This is a telling response from Benilde-St. Margaret's.
It is. Coming off an emotional win like that, it's hard to kind of get back up, no matter who you're playing. But Benilde, they came out today and they handled it.
And the Red Knights, they were right there. Robbinsdale Cooper, that was a close one, and then they hung in there with Hopkins and Eden Prairie. The Cooper game surprised some people, but Cooper, they're getting some buzz now. Now, are they going to get out of their section? Hopkins and Wayzata is a tall order.
Not, but
but they're building something over there.
They could be one of those sleeper teams.
Well, St. Louis Park, I'll be seeing their game after we're done here. And that is why you keep playing until the clock reads 0. It won't be enough for the win, but Celia Lynn gets a highlight to her reel. And Lynn, she's at 16 off the bench. Now, some of this is coming stat padding time, but again, this is why you keep playing.
Yeah, you want your coaches to take notice.
Exactly, and you never know. A play like that could pay big dividends when they meet again.
Yeah.
This is the kind of game, as Holy Angels will use another timeout here. That's why I've brought this up more than once. You keep playing, you forget the score. Okay, maybe the game is out of reach. But a play like that where Lynn got a 4-point play out of it, that could give her some swagger if they meet again in sections where, hey, you got a big momentum-turning play. Maybe it came a little too late to get a win here. But imagine what that could do in the section final.
Yeah, and not only in the next game when these two teams meet, but just moving forward.
Well, I got to give a hat tip to Celia Lynn, 17 off the bench. And we know Holy Angels, they're not afraid to go deep in that rotation. And now O'Malley gets the steal. I'll tell you what, Jason, The play we're seeing now, it's coming against second stringers, but I think this is going to get the attention of the coaches, how the second string has come up to play.
I think you're right, Mike.
That remains a strength of Holy Angels, that depth of theirs. We're going to get more free throws. Why not?
Oh, you got to love it when 2 minutes turns into 10 minutes, Mike.
Oh, I'm used to that. But I say this all the time. It might be a little vexing for us because maybe we want to get out of here, but it goes back to why we're talking about playing until the clock reads 0.
Yep.
Until the game is done, that's a chance to make an impression. Benilde-St. Margaret's, by the way, 33 of 39 at the free throw line. That's a pretty good number.
That is. I'll take that any day.
And Benilde-St. Margaret's will take the win, 88-73. A true team effort. Olson, McGee, the big contributors. Sierra Lumpkin with 18, Bishop with 14. And this is just one game, Jason, but this is the kind of performance that suggests Benilde-St. Margaret's is building up their ranks and ready to maybe go a step further after reaching state last year.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to make a statement here with this game, which I think they did. They played well on both ends, Mike, on the offensive end and the defensive end. Their three-point shooting paid big dividends for them in this game, so it's fun to watch.
We'll try to get a word with some of the Benilde-St. Margaret's players before we wrap it up. This is high school girls basketball. The Red Knights go to 4-2 with an 88-73 win over the Stars. Joining me are a trio of Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights who teamed up splendidly today. Sierra Lumpkin, Olivia Olson, and Kendall McGee. Sierra, we'll start with you since you're next to me, but you dropped 18 points, and the last year and the start of this season, I think a lot of attention was focused on Olivia and Kendall, and probably not a surprise considering what those two can do, but to come up with 18 points against a section rival and score a big win, what does that do for your confidence?
I'd say it ups my confidence a little bit. I just come into the games trying to play as aggressive as I can. I don't really think about points, I just try and play as a team, move the ball, but shoot when I'm open. So I'm glad I was able to contribute to our win today.
Contribute might be an understatement. How do you think the team is coming together? Some new pieces, new head coach, but in the early part of the season, you played well against Hopkins and Eden Prairie, and now you have a back-to-back big wins over two state tournament perennials.
I'd say with a bunch of new players and a new coach and stuff, it's taken a while to mesh together, but I'd say we're getting better every day in practice and just continue to keep playing as a team. And our coaches emphasize a lot on moving the ball, and drive, kick when you're open, just play basketball really, don't overthink stuff. So I know it's taken a little bit to get used to, but I think we're doing a very good job adapting and continuing to progress as a team.
Well, Olivia, you have progressed a lot since I first saw you play a couple years ago. You had a quiet 23 points by my count, well, quiet by your standards. How would you say you've grown from last year to this year?
I'd say being more of a vocal leader and kind of when our team is down, I try and kind of get us together more. And last year, I feel like I wasn't as mature, and so kind of in that role, I feel like I've gotten better.
And where you and Kendall thrived was the fast break. Holy Angels ran that pressure defense, and once you found a way to get around it, you and Kendall were hooking up frequently on transition plays. What do you think makes this team so effective on fast breaks?
I feel like once we get the ball, we just push, and Kendall and I, we always practice our lobs, and so we tried to get one today, but I got fouled on it, and so we just we know each other and we know where we're gonna be, and so if one of us is ahead, we try and get it to them and hope to score.
Well, you still got points out of that position, if I recall.
Yeah, free throws.
So you're right. Well, free throws are a layup. Points are points, right?
Yeah.
What have you enjoyed most about this season after making it to state, getting a taste of that success, and now you've parlayed that into some impressive performances in the other part of this season?
I'd say just seeing our potential as a team and seeing how kind of we've united compared to last year and kind of how everyone's took a step forward, and our new players are, like, we have a couple younger kids that are taking a step up, and I just think putting the pieces together, I'm excited for the end of the season.
Well, one player who's moved forward a lot is Kendall McGee. Kendall, I've seen you a couple of times this season, and going back to AAU, what amazes me the most about your skill set, your ability to lean into contact, use your body to draw fouls, get to the line, so if you can't score on a slash, you'll find a way to pick up some points there. How have you worked on those body mechanics over the years?
I would just say it's kind of a trial and error type of thing. Like when you drive, then you just have to make sure that you know where your teammates are, and it's kind of helps with the chemistry of our team as well when in practice, just knowing where each other are, and then talking about it if we miss something, and then it's just about talking to each other and then just kind of making sure you're aware of your surroundings on the court to know where each other are.
Last year, you were the newcomer, getting acclimated to this environment and getting acclimated to a prolific player like Olivia along with the rest of this team. How do you feel you have settled in between your freshman season and now?
I know last year I was a lot more nervous just coming from where I was. It was a lot less competition, and then coming here it was a lot faster, and it was a lot better teams that we played. So last year I know I had a slow start, and I was really nervous to start, but then this year I've gotten used to it. I progressed as a player. I've built relationships with my teammates, so that has helped me to be able to play better and just kind of come and just play.
And for anyone out there who hopes to embody what you're doing someday, I imagine you're starting to get some fans of your own. That quick first step of yours, I've seen it a lot in AAU, and you use it to full effect here at the high school ranks too. That go-to move of slashing to the bucket, it feels like you have it on repeat whenever I cover a game. What would you say is the ingredient that leads to getting that first step on opponents?
I would just say having quick feet and just practicing over and over again. It wasn't something that just came naturally. It's just you got to keep working on it until you get it down, and then once you get it down, then it'll be natural, and then you can just do it whenever.
Well, it looked pretty natural today. And before we wrap things up, you want to say hi to anybody?
Hi to my parents watching this.
Hi to my sister watching.
Hi to my family and friends.
And Olivia, I have to ask you this just quickly here. How's that lawn care business of yours going?
It's slowed down because of the winter, but I'm excited to get it going in spring.
Well, you know what? That's a perfect time to slow down because that allows you to focus on basketball, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine if you were in Florida or someplace like that. You'd have no time at all to practice.
Yeah, I'd go all year round.
Yes, go for it.
Liv, you should do some snow shoveling instead.
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe you've got another side hustle there. I mean, we've had, 99 inches over the last few days? Okay, maybe not that much, but you know what? That would keep you limber until the lawns grow again in the spring. I think Sierra is asking for your services here.
No, I'll help her, actually.
Okay.
I'll make some money, too.
Well, all right, so anyone out there,
Kendall.
if any of you need some help with snow shoveling or lawn care, you've got some folks right here ready to help out. Well, thanks for stopping by. Congrats on the win, and enjoy the holidays as they come up.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kendall McGee, Olivia Olson, and Sierra Lumpkin, all aspiring lawn care professionals. And that will do it here from Benilde-St. Margaret to St. Louis Park. For the rest of our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.